Hello fellow ham radio operators and YouTubers. My name is Roly, ZL9BQD. Welcome to my one-man DXpeditions to the Pacific, Melanesia, Micronesia, and even out into the Indian Ocean. I invite you to come along with me on one of my adventures to, say, the Kermadec Islands, ZL8BQD, or the Auckland Islands, ZL9BQD. How about Rotuma, 3D2RJ, or even the Tokelau Islands, ZK3RR? So welcome, pull up a chair, grab a cup of coffee, come and join me on one of my DXpeditions. In this episode, I invite you to join me, ZL9BQD, to the Auckland Islands, together with my fellow ham radio operators Ron, ZL9AMO, and Wayne, ZL0AFZ Portable 9. Some of you will know Wayne as N7NG. The Auckland Islands are south of New Zealand by approximately 470 kilometres. That's about 300 miles for our US friends. And they're listed on the DXCC countries list as New Zealand subantarctic islands. The logistics for such a trip are horrendous. Food and provisions have to be purchased and stored in waterproof and wrap-proof containers. Ron and Wayne discuss how best to pack the provisions and make sure we have sufficient in case of unforeseen circumstances. The Auckland Islands are a UNESCO World Heritage Site, so everything has to be done to protect its quite fragile ecology. You may remember Ron and I were shipwrecked on a previous DXpedition to the Kermadec Islands, so we were very conscious of any safety issues and the need for adequate provisions. The scientific crew were also involved in stowing our provisions and made sure that everything was watertight and took up the minimum of space. We are on a very small boat after all. Now comes the task of loading the all-important ham radio equipment. Several of the local ham radio community turned up to the QTH of ZL9BQD to help us pack a truckload of gear to take down to the boat for loading. The beams were kindly donated by JA2VPO, and some of the radio transceivers were supplied by ICOM. We have to make sure that we take everything we need, and probably more. There are no hardware stores or electronic outlets on the Auckland Islands we can visit. We knew there were at least 2 huts we could use on Enderby Island, but we had no idea what condition they were in, so we made sure we took tents with us as well. There is certainly no power on the island, so we had to take 2 generators, and of course as much fuel as we were able to carry. Then came the task of loading the boat, ready for the 36-hour trip from New Zealand to the Auckland Islands. The boat skipper is a commercial fisherman, so he was keen to see what fishing would be like so far south, so all his gear had to be stowed as well. Now there's not much room on the Savannah for 3 ham radio operators, 3 scientists and 2 crew members. However, the job was soon done, and we bid farewell to New Zealand from Bluff, which is the southernmost port in mainland New Zealand. After 36 hours of very heavy seas and large swells, we finally made it to Enderby Island, which is the northernmost island in the Auckland Islands group. And so we've got our first glimpse of what was to become our home for the next 10 days. It was good to see those huts standing in what appeared to be good order. Fortunately, we had a nice shallow beach to land at, on an otherwise very rugged island surrounded entirely by cliffs. The scientific party were the first to go ashore and test the lay of the land. And so began the day of transferring all our gear and equipment ashore by using the dinghy to set up our base, consisting of 2 huts and a couple of tents. We were greeted by the local population of sea lions and escorted ashore. They're certainly very curious animals, but had to be treated with a lot of respect, as they didn't really want us invading their beach and disturbing their otherwise peaceful lives. The rest of the day was spent transporting all our gear from the Savannah to the beach, and then carrying it all to our huts and soon to be erected tents. All of this was under the watchful eye of the sea lions, who were more than ready to defend their territory should they had thought it was necessary. We were very grateful to the scientific party in helping us get everything ashore, and gradually set up a base from which we could operate. We had 2 huts to our disposal, and we had to put up tents as well. While Ron and the scientific party were busy getting the tents erected and the huts somewhat livable, Wayne and Roly constructed the tri-band antennas. We had 3 tri-band antennas, a 180 metre dipole, one 160 metre dipole. The dipoles weren't very high. They were slung up into the rata trees, but they did a very, very good job for us nonetheless. Finally came the time to raise the antennas. This is a classic example, isn't it, of 5 guys with 6 opinions as to how to raise one antenna. You'll hear the suitable commentary from the sea lions and the seagulls in the background. I'll just let the video run and you can make your own mind up.
Once it gets there, your anchor point's all the way. Yeah. What you want is this is the peak, and that your poles are going to pull out. A little bit more, Roly. No, you're going to lose it. Get your anchor point to it first and adjust it. Okay. Back this way, Ron. Did it? Yeah, I got it. Wow, I thought I was going to use this neck for it. Pretty unstable. It's been here over 150 years. I think
And so it's time to see if our hard work paid off. Ron was first up with a little bit of CW. Let's listen in as he deals with a little bit of a pileup. Now that was just a little bit of a teaser. We've got more of Ron operating at the end of this video. Sadly, Ron is a silent key now, so I've made the end of this video a little bit of a tribute to Ron, and we'll have an extended session of his CW prowess. And I invite you at the end of this video to listen in. See if you can hear the stations that Ron hears. If not, what stations are you hearing? And I invite you to put your comments below as to what stations you heard and what you could pull out of the pileup. Anyway, more of that later. Right now, let's have a little bit of a look around the island, shall we, and see what else is on this fantastic little island in the Auckland Islands. The sea lion certainly dominated the beach, and we always made sure that we kept on the uphill side of the sea lions. They can move remarkably quickly indeed. The best idea is to keep well away from them. Leave them to their own devices, leave them to lie in the sun and of course defend their territory. The emperor penguins were quite prevalent on the island. They love to come ashore and make their nests in the rata forest, and it's quite often you'd come across one of these little fellows as you're walking around the island, and a curious little bird. They're quite happy to for you to approach them, but get too close and they'll run off back into the forest looking for their home. And here is a shot looking back to our QTH from across the island. You can see in the background there the 3 antennas that we had erected. And then we pan around the bay and see some of the outer islands. I think that is Adams Island in the background there. And then the main Auckland Island. In the meantime, I wonder what's happening back at base.
USL. URZ, ZL0AF set, portable 9. ZL0AF set, portable ZL9, URZ. Okay, 73 Harry. What was the other stations on the QSY to 10? Okay, ZL1 Bravo, Whiskey Kilo. Where would you like? Okay, 28400. We'll see you there. ZL0AF set, portable 9. ZL1BWK. ZL1BWK. ZL0 Alpha Foxtrot Zulu, portable 9.
Well, that was Wayne trying to get a bit of a pileup going on 10 metres. Obviously a little bit quiet at that time. We'll join Wayne a little bit later on. In the meantime, back to the scientists. I wonder what they're up to. One of the things we did with the scientists was to help them out in their scientific work. And one of the things was trying to band some of the skewers on the island for their scientific research. Well, how do you catch a skewer in order to band it? Now, that can be quite a challenge. Let's have a look and see what happens. Well, that's how it's done. Now you know how to catch a skewer and band it if you should have to do that at some time. In the meantime, let's check back to base camp and see what's happening there again.
Whiskey 6 Papa, Quebec Sierra, thank you. QRZ ZL9 Bravo, Quebec Delta, 300 up. Okay, listening 305, listening 305, okay? WA6 Fox Italy Tango 509. 73 QRZ ZL9 Bravo Quebec Delta 300 305. Okay, 5 whiskey 509. Okay, KA5 whiskey 509 QRZ ZL9 Bravo Quebec Delta. And Nancy Mike Nancy 509. XE1 Mike and Nancy 509 QSL. QRZ ZL9 Bravo Quebec Delta 300 305. The W5YU, hi Otto, you're 509. I knew you were going to ask that, Otto. We're going to be on 160 when the tide comes in, okay? Okay, 73 is 1100, 1130 Zulu, okay? 73, QRZ Delta. Zulu Lima 9 Bravo, Quebec Delta, QRZ Japan. JA1 Sugar Delta Victor 5 by 9. QSL QRZ Zulu Lima 9 Bravo Quebec Delta. Whiskey Lima Kilowatt 5 by 9. QSL QRZ ZL9 Bravo Quebec Delta. Japan Echo 4 X-ray Oscar November 5 and 9. Okay, Zulu Lima 1 Bravo Quebec Delta QSL QRZ ZL9 Bravo Quebec Delta. Yankee Germany Kilo 509. JA7 Yankee Germany Kilo QRP. What is your QRP power? How much power? Over.
Okay, 4 watts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 watts. Yourself?
Yeah, 4 watts. Congratulations. Very good indeed. QRZ Zulu Lima 9 Bravo Quebec Delta. Japan.
JA0 Boston, November X-ray.
JA0 Boston November X-ray 509.
Okay, thanks very much. You also 59.
QSL QRZ ZL9 Bravo Quebec Delta.
X-ray Zulu Germany.
X-ray Zulu Germany 509.
Okay, Japan Hotel 9. Japan Hotel 9.
Japan Hotel 9 X-ray Zulu Germany. Thank you. QRZ. QRZ ZL9 Bravo Quebec Delta. Mike November Papa. Mike November Papa 509.
Yeah, QSL, Japan America 3. Japan America 3, Mike November Papa. You also 59, thank you.
Okay, QSL QRZ Zulu Lima 9 Bravo Quebec Delta. Japan. Okay, Whiskey Italy 509.
Okay, Japan Lima 3, Victor Whiskey Italy. You also 409.
QSL 509. QRZ ZL9 Bravo Quebec Delta.
Whiskey Bravo Sierra.
Whiskey Bravo Sierra 509.
JL1 Japan Romeo number 1. Whiskey Bravo Sierra 509.
JL1 Whiskey Bromeo Sierra, you're 509. QRZ ZL9 Bravo Quebec Delta. Victor Bravo 509.
You also 59 Japan Italy Bravo. Are you me 10 meters? Go ahead.
Yeah, Juliet Italy 1 Victor Bravo will be 10 meters in 1 hour time. 1 hour. QSL.
Right, thank you.
QRZ ZL9 Bravo Quebec Delta. Okay, Echo Zulu Foxtrot QRP 555555. Japan Radio 3 Echo Zulu Hotel QRP. Thank you. What QRP power? What is your power? Over. Well, like all good things, our trip to the Auckland Islands comes to an end. But as promised, here's a clip from Ron, Z01AMO, busy at CW. See how you make out with the calls that you can decipher, and whatever you can decipher, put down in the comments below. Now, if you like this video, please subscribe. Ring the little bell and I can let you know when I'm out on my next DXpedition. Please like the video and share it amongst your fellow ham radio operators. So until next time.
Seals over there, by the way.
Where?
Oh, way over the distance, looks like shape of a
Bye now.